thanks again for joining me today. My name is Erica and I'll be leading us through a beginner's Vinyasa yoga class. So in Vinyasa yoga, we focus on making a flow of poses, tying them in with our breath, all while building heat in our body. Today we're going to focus a lot on spinal twists, which are good for so many reasons, including decompressing and lengthening the spine, as well as massaging our internal organs and maybe getting a little stretch in the glutes and the hips as well. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body, and if you have any existing medical conditions, check with your doctor before starting any exercise regimen. So today, I think we begin starting on our back a lot, so we're going to start on our feet today. So go ahead and stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width distance apart. And any anxieties or things that we're holding on to our body today that are keeping us from propelling forward or being productive, with every exhale in our body today during this practice, we're going to shake that stuff off. So give me a few deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Maybe let out a little sigh. And we're going to start to shift our arms back and forth. Just let them swing by our sides. Nice deep breaths, loosening up our shoulders a little bit. Letting them slow down at our sides. Start to rock back and forward on your feet, really grounding your feet into the mat. Turning on the muscles in our legs, so feeling the muscles around the kneecaps lift. Drawing the belly back to the spine, finding length through the sides of the body, standing tall out through the crown of the head. Slowly begin to lift the arms about as high as where the ceiling meets the wall, so not directly overhead. And we're going to hold and breathe here. Nice deep breaths into the chest. Try to resist the urge of your low back reaching up towards the ceiling as well. We want to tuck the tailbone under and draw the belly in. Nice active core. Few more breaths here. On your next exhale, slowly lower the arms down by your sides and just let them hang heavy. Next inhale, arms come back up. This time lifting the arms directly overhead, gaze up to the ceiling. Tailbone stays tucked under. If you find the shoulders scrunching high up towards the ears, lower the arms down to the first position. As we exhale, arms lower down by our sides. Let them hang heavy. Bring the hands to the hips, stretch wide across the front of the chest, stand tall. And hinge forward into half lift. We're going to keep the hands on our hips, chest parallel to the floor. Gaze is down towards the mat. If the legs feel really tight here, put a soft bend in the knee, keeping the spine nice and long. And breathe here. Lower all the way to forward fold, so let the belly come down to the thighs, bending the knees if you need to, letting arms and head hang heavy. Shake the head a few times, yes and no. Make sure the body's still active, so hips are reaching high towards the ceiling, belly's drawing in. Keeping the chin tucked to the chest, we'll round the spine up to standing nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Once you make it to standing, chin lifts from the chest and gaze forward. Look to the tip of your nose and take a few breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep breath in and breath out. Use your next inhale to lift the arms overhead. Exhale to forward fold, belly to thighs, and rise to half lift. Bring the hands to the shins and flatten the back. Step into a plank pose, so bend the knees enough so you can plant your hands on the mat and step back into a traditional plank. Heels in line with hips, in line with shoulders. Lifting out of the shoulders and core active. Then drop the knees to tabletop. Lift up to the fingertips and round the spine into cat, tucking chin to chest. Slowly lift this and arch the spine into cow, gazing up towards the ceiling and rounding back to cat. A few times back and forth at your own pace, as slowly or as quickly as you like. Settle back into a tabletop position. Shift your feet off to one side of the mat so you can bring your hips down into a seated position. Let's bring the legs around front. Bottoms of feet together into Baddha Konasana. Press firmly into the pinky edges of the feet and find some length through the spine. Gazes softly down towards the mat. Getting a nice opening in the hips and lengthening of the spine. Place the hands behind your body, fingertips facing away from you. Extend just the right leg forward and flex the foot. So spine is long and foot is flexed. If you find it hard to keep the length in your spine here, put a soft bend in your knee, keeping the heel on the mat. We'll take a few breaths here before we go any further. If you're looking to create some more sensation in the leg and in the spine, walk the fingertips in a little closer to the body and send the chest forward. Notice when I lean forward, my spine doesn't round. I'm keeping the length and leading with my chest. Few more breaths here. Getting a nice stretch on the back side of the leg. Come back into Baddha Konasana, so bottoms of feet together and hands with feet. We're going to round the spine this time, tucking chin to chest. Slowly find the length in the spine once again. Place hands behind you and extend left leg forward, foot flexed. Few breaths here. Bending the knee if you need to modify. Leaning forward if you did so on the opposite side, keeping the length in the spine. And returning to Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet together and spine rounded. Find the length in the spine last time and come to a cross leg position, placing your fingers at your sides. Slowly belly twist to the right. Right hand directly behind and left hand in front. Keep the length in your spine and belly drawing back to the body. Gaze is to the back of the mat. Slowly unwind, placing the hands back at your sides. As you exhale, we'll belly twist to the left, right hand in front this time. On your next exhale, slowly unwinding, hands back at your sides. We'll rock forward into a tabletop position on the hands and the knees stacked under hips and wrists stacked underneath the shoulders. Uncurl the toes so top of the feet are to the mat. Extend the right leg long behind you, heel in line with the hip, lift out of the shoulders, and we'll hold for a few breaths here. Gaze should be down towards your mat. Core should be nice and active. Lift up to the fingertips and give me a crunch. So draw right knee to chest, round the spine, lift the knee nice and high, and step the foot through into lunge. If the foot doesn't get quite into alignment on its own, manually place it there. On our inhale, we'll lift both arms overhead. On the exhale, hands together and down to heart center. Find length through the spine and send tailbone long to the floor. For some stability, make sure both thighs are actively drawing towards the midline of your body, and we'll slowly belly twist to the right. Even if you manage just an inch or two, as long as we find a bit of a twist. If you want to challenge your balance, try looking out over the right shoulder. Slowly unwind, coming back to center, and bring both hands back to mat. Extend the right leg long behind you and return to tabletop. Hands flat to mat. Left leg extends, pointing through the toes. Activate the core. Find a lift out of the shoulders. Lift up to the fingertips and give me a crunch. Knee to chest, round the spine, and step the foot through into lunge. Inhale, both arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice slow movements. Slowly spinal twisting to the left. Looking out over the shoulder if you want to challenge your balance. Slowly unwind, coming back through center, hands to mat, and leg behind you. Return to tabletop. Settle into child's pose, hips to heels, arms down the length of the mat, and forehead to mat. Separate your knees nice and wide to about mat width distance apart to help open the hips today. We'll take a few moments of breath here to finish our warm-up. If you're uncomfortable in child's pose, come back to tabletop. Drop elbows to mat for puppy instead. Slowly make your way back to a tabletop position to prepare for down dog. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Start to distribute the weight evenly between the hands now so that you're not actively pressing into just the palm only. Tuck the toes onto the mat. Lift the knees so they're off the mat. Keep the hips lifting up towards the ceiling. Knees stay bent. We're going to press away from the mat to lift out of the shoulders and bring belly back towards our thighs. Gaze is down towards the toes. Take a few breaths here. If you want some more sensation in the legs, try bending one leg, or straightening one leg, excuse me. And then try straightening the other. Maybe you find both heels reaching towards the floor. Everyone look forward in between the hands and step your right foot up to lunge. Again, manually placing it there if you need to. We'll step up to half lift. Left foot steps up to meet the right. Hands to shins. Back is flat. Lower to forward fold, bending knees, belly to thighs, arms and head hang. And we'll slowly round the spine up to standing. Take your time, one vertebrae at a time. Once you're standing, lift the arms overhead. We'll move right into sun salutations. Lower back to forward fold, belly to thighs. Rise to half lift, hands to shins, and step back into plank. Now drop the knees, and we'll bring our chest to the mat, keeping elbows nice and close to the body, all the way flat to mat. Using the strength of your core and your back, we'll lift the chest off the mat. So no pressure in the hands here. To press the child's, now we press into the hands. Hips back to heels. Just a breath or two here. Try to make them nice and deep. Slowly rise back to tabletop. And lift the hips to down dog. Belly back to thighs. Knees can stay bent if you want some ease. Otherwise, heels are reaching towards the floor. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Look forward and step the left foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift, hands to shins. Lower to fold, belly to thighs, and rise to standing, nice and slow. Again, lifting the arms overhead, lowering to forward fold. Rise to half lift, step back into plank. Drop the knees, drop the chest and the belly. Lift to baby cobra and press to child's, hips to heels. Breath or two here. Slowly rise to tabletop and find your down dog, hips up to ceiling, whatever version is most comfortable for you. Check in with your hands, making sure you're not pressing only into the base of the palm. Distribute that weight, lift out of the shoulders. Gaze forward, step your right foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift, hands to shins, and lower to fold. Rise to standing, nice and slow. Picking up our heart rate just a little. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you find your plank position and your belly, all on one breath if you can. Inhale to baby cobra and exhale to child's. Lift right into tabletop this time and exhale as you find down dog, hips up. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Look forward and step your left foot into lunge. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise to standing. Next, inhale, arms lift. Switching it up a little bit this time. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift and pause here. Don't hold the breath. Bend the left knee and lift the right arm up to the ceiling into twist. Take a few breaths here into your chest. Keep the belly drawing back towards the spine, nice and active. And return to half lift, hands to shins. Right knee bends and left arm lifts into twist. Return to half lift. Step back into plank and pause at tabletop, knees to mat. Extend the right leg long behind you. Lift up to the fingertips and give me a crunch into lunge. Foot in between the hands. Tuck the left toes onto the mat. We're going to float this knee into the air, pressing out through the left heel. Right knee stays stacked over the ankle. Bring the hands to the thighs, lifting the chest upright, lifting the arms overhead. Bring the hands together and down through heart center. Slowly spinal twist to the right. Just a few inches will do. Looking out over the right shoulder. Slowly unwind back to the front of your mat and open up to the left side of the mat into a standing position, feet flat. Hold your pose here. Turn the toes out so they face away from one another, and bend the knees into goddess. So knees stacked right over ankles, hips send down towards the floor. Keep the chest lifted, gazing forward. Goddess is great for lengthening our spine while we're opening our hips. Take a few breaths here. Make sure the weight isn't pouring into the big toe edges of the feet. Make sure you're evenly distributing to the pinky edges of the feet as well. Slowly straighten the legs and rise to standing. Turn both feet forward. Right foot turns to face the front of the mat, and we lift the arms to shoulder height. Bend right knee into warrior two, stacking it right over the ankle. Breathing here, standing nice and tall. Right arm lifts to reverse warrior, getting a nice stretch on the right side of the body. As we exhale, we'll windmill to lunge. So my hands windmill down. Notice as my left heel lifts off the mat and I come back to lunge. Step into plank. Drop the knees and find the belly all the way down. Inhale to baby cobra, chest lifts. And exhale to child's, hips to heels. Give yourself a bit of a breather here. How do you feel in your body? What's on your mind? Slowly rise to tabletop and find down dog, hips up to ceiling. Step your right foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift. Find the fold and rise to standing one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift and pause here. Right knee bends and left arm lifts to the ceiling. As you exhale, return to half lift. Left knee bends, inhale the right arm up. Breathe here. Exhale back to half lift. Step back into plank and pause at tabletop. Extend the left leg long behind you. Lift up to the fingertips and give me a crunch into lunge. Right knee lifts off the mat. And we get the arms overhead up to ceiling. Bring the hands together and down through heart center. Slowly spinal twist to the left. Use your exhale to unwind. Open up to the right side of your mat, feet flat. Toes are turned away from one another, and we bend into goddess. Few breaths here. Slowly rise to standing and turn the feet forward. Left foot turns forward and arms lift to shoulder height. Bend the knee into warrior two and hold here. Left arm lifts into reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill to lunge. Step back into plank. Drop the knees, lower to belly. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale to child's. Slowly rise to tabletop and lift to down dog. Last down dog of the day. Take a few breaths here, nice and deep. Find a little bit of movement, bending one knee and then the other if you want some ease. Or maybe just a little movement. Step your left foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift. Lower to fold. Take a few breaths here. Let those arms and head hang heavy. Maybe finding a bit of a sway side to side. And slowly rolling up to standing. So stay standing at the top of your mat. We're going to transition into some balance. We'll start with our right leg as the standing leg. So all the weight is in that leg. Lift up on the toes, spread them nice and wide, and then bring them back down to the mat. So I know your legs are nice and active. Lift up to the left tippy toes, and then open the hips, so knee turns out. So here's option one if you struggle with balance a little bit. Toes can stay on the mat. Option two is to bring the bottom of the left foot to the calf. Option three is to bring it all the way up to the thigh. Just make sure you skip your knee and make sure hip stays open. Bring your hands to heart center and we'll hold here. Find length through the spine, root down through your feet. Try to keep your gaze focused on one object, something that's not going to be moving. And if you want the challenge, try lifting the arms overhead. Try to add a sway as if we're trees moving in the breeze. And then hands come back together down through heart center. And we'll all step our left foot down to the mat. Bend the knees, give that standing leg a break. We're going to switch sides, so all the weight's now on the left foot. Lift up to the right tippy toes and open the hip. Take whatever position you took on the opposite side, whether it was toes to mat, calf, or thigh. Hands come to heart center. Lifting the arms overhead if you tried on the opposite side. Finding a bit of a sway. Bring the hands together down through heart center. And step your foot down to the mat, bending the knees, giving those legs a break. Stay nice and tall at the top of your mat with your hands at your sides. Give me a nice deep breath in through the nose, lift the arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, hands down by your sides. Deep breath in, arms up. Exhale. Last time, breath in. As we exhale, find forward fold this time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to find your plank. Once you're in plank, don't hold the breath, just hold the pose. We're going to aim to hold this plank for 10 seconds, but if you're feeling tired, you're more than welcome to lower down to your belly now. We're all going to the same place. Holding here, and then dropping the knees and finding the belly.
Bring the arms along the sides of your body, palms face up. Bring toes together, let heels fall out, and turn your head to one side to rest on your cheek. Let your body melt heavy onto the mat. And just let go, take advantage of this break. If you want a bit more stretch for your neck, turn your head a little more so you're resting on your ear more than you are your cheek. And gently turn your head to the opposite side, starting on your cheek first. Moving to the ear if you did so on the opposite side. And bring your chin to the mat. From here, turn your palms face down to the mat and draw your legs together so they're touching as if you have one limb. As you draw the breath in through the nose, lift the chest, pressing down and back on the hands. As you exhale out through the mouth, chest comes back down to the mat. We're going to do this a few more times. If you want some more sensation in the chest and the shoulders, try taking the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers and pressing the palms together, shoulders rolling behind the heart. As we inhale, we lift the chest. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. If you're holding your hands, let go, let arms hang heavy back to your sides. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press into child's pose, rounded child's pose. So arms come along the sides of the body, palms face up, and forehead to mat. Let the shoulders roll down towards the mat. Slowly rise to a seated position and swing the legs out front. Flex the feet, lift the arms overhead, and drop chin to chest. Slowly round the spine into rounded back stretch, dropping the hands to the knees, pointing the elbows out to either side of the room. Lower the shoulders down the back. Nice deep breaths we're going to hold for a few moments here. Just relieving tension around the spine. Decompressing the spine, rejuvenating our disc. Slowly lift the spine upright. Place your hands on either sides of your hips. Find some length through your spine for a counter stretch before you relax back to neutral. Bend the right knee, placing the foot on the mat. you want to increase the spinal twist today, try taking your foot over to the opposite side. If you take this variation with the foot crossed and your right hip lifts off the mat, I want you to come back, foot on the same side. Whichever side your foot is on, left arm wraps onto the bent leg. Belly twist to the right, placing your right hand directly behind you, looking to the back of the room. Keep length in your spine and belly drawing in. You might feel a nice stretch on the outside of the hip here. Slowly unwind with your exhale, and we'll switch sides. Left knee bends. If you cross the foot over on the opposite side, do the same here. Right arm holds on. Opening the twist to the back of a room, placing the hand on the mat. Slowly unwind and return to center. Go ahead and straighten the leg. Bend both knees, keeping the heels on the mat. And place the fingertips behind you, lengthening the spine. Walk the fingertips into the body so belly can come down to the thighs. So we want to prioritize the lengthening in the spine here. We've done a lot of twisting today. Just creating a little strength and stability. If you want some more sensation in the legs, you can start to straighten the legs forward a few inches at a time. Just don't lose the length in the spine. We'll take a few more breaths here. Slowly lift the spine back upright. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat. Feet are on the mat as well. Place your hands on the back of your thighs and slowly roll down onto your back, one vertebrae at a time. Separate the knees to mat with distance apart. Let the knees fall together. Place your arms nice and wide at your sides, palms face up. Just take a breath or two here. As we slow down our practice, our movement slows down as well. Straighten your legs onto the mat. Lift your arms overhead. Give me a nice long stretch. And then relax your arms down by your sides. Bend your right knee, drawing it in towards your chest, flexing the feet. And take a hold just below the knee, pulling the thigh close to the body. If you're comfortable closing the eyes, go ahead and close the eyes now and try to keep them closed for the next few poses. Gently release the leg back onto the mat and draw left knee into the chest, feet flexed. Release the leg onto the mat And draw both knees into the chest, feet side by side, holding on to the front of the legs or onto the thighs, back of the thighs, if you feel any discomfort in the knees. Slowly release the feet back to mat, so knees are still bent. Extend your right leg up towards the ceiling, holding on to the back of the thigh. Pressing out through the heel, so foot's flexed. And then pointing out through the toes. Notice how we're sort of flipping and stretch from the back side of the leg with the foot flexed to the front side of the leg with the toes pointed. See which one you want to hang out in and hold here for the next few breaths. Begin to cross the right ankle into figure 4, so ankle crosses over the left knee. If you look down at your legs, it should look like an upside down 4. Place the arms wide at your sides, palms face up. One last hip opener here. Maybe going back to eyes closed if they opened. Bring the right foot back down to the mat. And extend left leg up to ceiling. Hold on to back of the thigh. Flex and point the foot a few times back and forth. And then hold the foot pointed or flexed, either one. And just take a few breaths. Cross the ankle into figure 4 and place the arms out at your sides. Return left foot to the mat. Draw both knees into the chest, leaving your arms where they're at. Slowly lowering the knees to the right side of the body. And turning the head to left into reclined spinal. Draw the knees back to the chest. Let them fall over to the left and head to the right. Draw the knees back to the chest, last time. Wrap your arms around the legs. Lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in, hold at the top. As you exhale, lay flat on the mat, separating arms and legs nice and wide. Let the toes fall out and the eyes close. We'll finish here with a final rest period. Bring your attention to your breath. Relax your brow. And settle onto your mat. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back to your body. Slowly roll over to the right side of your body and take a moment of stillness on your side, maybe using your arm as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. As always, we'll finish our class with some cleansing breaths, so breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Place one hand on your belly and one on your chest. We'll start on an exhale, so release all the breath out of the body. Start to inhale, filling the belly, filling the chest. Exhale, chest. Exhale, belly. Inhale, belly and chest. Exhale, chest and belly. Last time, filling up the belly, filling up the chest, releasing the chest, releasing the belly. Take a second to thank yourself and your body for getting you through this practice. And I thank you for letting me lead you on this practice today. Namaste. So thanks so much for joining me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in again next Friday at 10. And if you're looking for anything a little slower pace and less demanding on your body, please try out my Sunday class, stress relief class at 11. Thanks again.